I need you guys to start inviting your friends over to your house because it's a recession. Everybody is broke. Also, everybody should start talking about that. Everybody is broke. Nilla wafers are $7. So how am I supposed to find joy? And for you bitches to be audacious enough to ask me to get a glass of wine and fucking dinner every night is crazy. So anyway, invite me to your house so we can rub our feeties together.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Okay, this person's asking, what if your interests don't align with your budget or your finances, right? So she says specifically, what if, for example, I like mountains and Indian food, but I meet somebody who wants to do those things and I can't afford to do it? I'm gonna give you some scripts on what to say in just a second, okay? But in the meantime, I want you to keep two things in mind. The first is, we're not gonna be sorry or apologetic about our financial situation. We're not gonna feel shame around it. Shame means you feel bad about it. But if you are doing ethical things to get your money and you're working as hard as you can, you're doing what you can, there's no shame or embarrassment around doing what you can do. I say that because a lot of times when we respond to people's social invitations, it's with apology. I'm so sorry, but I can't. Or we're thinking of ways to like lie about it or to explain and justify. Your situation's your situation, okay? And the second thing is you're always gonna offer alternatives. So we've gotta get creative with alternate ways we can engage in our interests that don't necessarily look like paying thousands of dollars to make a trip. But there are other ways I can enjoy the interests, right? So for example, let's say you have a friend who asks you to go to an exhibit, a limited exhibit that's coming to the museum, and it's like $40. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't, right now I don't have the disposable income for a $40 ticket, right? Plus food or whatever. So instead of saying, oh, I can't afford that right now, okay? Instead, I'm gonna say, yeah, I heard about that exhibit and it looks so good, but you know, with a couple other things I've got going on, I don't think I can add a $40 ticket to it. So there is this podcast though that I heard about, all about the artist, and apparently it's really good. I'm gonna send you a link. So how about like we listen to it together on Saturday and then link up to talk about it? Because I know we're gonna have thoughts. You'll notice my energy's still high. I'm still smiling. My body language is not that of a person who is sorry or embarrassed. My body language is of a person who's confident and who says, hey, this is the situation. I can't swing that right now, but let's do this instead. Are you down? And the right friends don't need an expensive backdrop upon which to interact. The right people, at the end of the day, they want your company. And it would be a cherry on top to be able to take the trip or do the whatever. But at the end of the day, they want you. So if you're saying like, hey, can we listen to this podcast about the artist? Because apparently it's really good. You want to meet up and talk about it next week? That's enough. So that's something to keep in mind. If you get invited to a bachelorette of a girl who you're not super close with and you're like, man, I can't spend $2,000 on you this weekend. Instead, it's going to be something like, man, with some other things I'm prioritizing financially, I really am not going to be able to realistically make this trip. But I know that you guys are going to, XYZ bar on your first night out. Everybody's drink is on me. Your first drink. So what's your Venmo? I'll send it to you so you guys are good to go. What I am going to do is offer my capacity with confidence, and I'm going to take some time to sit down and figure out, okay, what are my top 4 interests? What are some ways I can engage my interests that don't necessarily look like the obvious thing? Going to expensive restaurants, taking expensive trips. What are creative ways you can indulge in it? Can I invite my friend over because I'm going to make a vision board of all the spots I'm determined to go next year, and she can keep me company while I do it? If I love Indian food, can I pick out a recipe I want to make and be like, hey, come over while I put this recipe together because I want to see if it's as good as people say? Or can we take a trip to an ethnic grocery store and come walk with me while I look to see if they've got all the ingredients that I need for something I'm trying to do next week? And we spend 30 minutes just chopping it up and talking about Indian food while we're there browsing for 30 minutes? What are creative ways I can engage my interests with another person that don't necessarily look like the most financially dependent option? Something to consider.
If you're going out to dinners with friends and you really can't afford these dinners, here are 3 ways to get out of any dinner or birthday party if you just can't afford it. For a birthday party, send a text to your friend saying, hey, Alexa, as much as I would love to come, financially, I can't handle this right now, but I would love to go on a picnic or a walk with you to celebrate your birthday. To get out of splitting the bill on a group dinner where you barely ordered anything, whoever put the dinner together, go to the bathroom and have the waiter bring you a totally separate check for exactly what you ordered. And if you're just too nervous to be honest and need something cooler to say, simply just say you're starting a business and all the money needs to go into your business right now.
I can't afford to host people. I want to invite people over to my house, but I can't afford it. And I want to explain something to you. If you feel this way, it's because your invitation is not packed enough. And by packed, I mean it doesn't invite the right people. It's not doing the right activities. It doesn't have the right communal spirit, and it doesn't have the right duration. Let me explain. Number one, people. If there's any part of you that feels pressure to perform or to impress through having a really aesthetic spread and by being really entertaining, you may have invited the wrong people. Because inviting people to your home for a chill get together where you leave feeling energized and just totally satisfied has a lot to do with the company. So I'm not a fan of excluding others and things like that. But sometimes, yeah, you're going to have to be mindful of who's in the room because it probably directly impacts how you feel and what you do. I'm just saying. The next is activities. So this might sound really technical, but I got this from a book called The Art of Gathering, which I cannot recommend enough. But like, what are y'all doing? I know sometimes we're like, okay, come and hang out, but help people preview the experience of what that will be. And it can be literally anything you want. You can invite them over to do a Sex in the City marathon. You can make the activity be like crafting something, like we're going to create something together. I mean, what is it that we're doing? It gives people a better idea, and it also helps to direct you on like how to invest your money, time, things like that. And then finally, it makes it like fun and memorable. So I'm just saying. Okay, another thing that's really important is the spirit of community. If you feel a pressure to host by supplying everything and doing everything, there's no real spirit of community because again, it's training them to come and be entertained and come and be fed. Now, I agree that as a host, you want to host. You should have something to offer people to drink, whatever, like basic staples. But how can you integrate a spirit of actual community in the gathering? That might look like, hey, everybody, you bring this, and you bring this, and it's something really small. Or you can remove the expectation altogether that it's going to be a gathering where we're eating. Like maybe it's like a desserts only gathering. So like go ahead and eat dinner on your own, and then we're making candles and I don't know, and eating fruit, or making candles and doing dessert only. Everybody bring a dessert, so you can shape it to be what you want and stop expecting it to be these grand occasions. I think we're less likely to hang out and do the things because, I'm not going to digress too much, but I don't know if like this whole Instagram, social media culture gives us this pressure to make everything aesthetic or whatever. But again, that goes back to point number one of inviting the wrong people to begin with, And finally, I think this is like the missing ingredient in a lot of social gatherings: duration. How long are we going to be here? If that is something that kind of holds you back from offering up your home as like a hosting venue because you feel like it's going to be an all-night thing, and like, how do I let people know when I'm done, and how do they know when to arrive? Because if it feels like it's all night, then I feel like I can arrive whenever. As the host, you shape all of that. You front load the invitation with those expectations, even if it's casual. So you might say, yeah, we're going to, insert activity here. So if you get here around 6, then we're going to wrap by 8:30 so I can get my beauty rest, girl. It can be playful, but that's me letting you know we're going to do this for 2 hours. This is when we start, and this is when we're going to say goodbye. It's going to be a great time. You would be surprised. People actually like having those parameters. So be sure to make sure your invites and your hosting is packed, and then you'll be good to go.
So this is why I don't get the mail anymore. Yesterday, I made a video saying, hey, stop inviting me to things. I can't have any more friends because I can't afford to go to all of your occasions of getting married and birthdays and baby stuff. Like, I can't afford it. I can't. Guess what was in the mail? Go ahead, guess. An invitation to a 1-year-old's birthday. Out of town. And guess what? Go ahead. Just take a wild guess what the invitation said. If we can't make it, that we can send a present, and here's the link. Now, for all the moms out there, don't get mad at me, but like, a 1-year-old's not going to remember who's at their birthday. They're not even going to remember. They're probably going to poop their pants. Let's be real. This is all to get presents or money or whatever. Like, I'm not going to freaking Ohio for a 1-year-old's birthday. What? You know what? From now on, I'm going to invite everyone to everything. I have a colonoscopy coming up next month. Guess what? You're getting an invitation, and here's a QR code to send me money through Zelle if you cannot make it.
I've come to terms with the fact that at this point in my life, I cannot afford friends. I cannot afford brunch every single weekend. I cannot afford concerts every month. I cannot afford 10 birthdays in June. I cannot afford trips to God knows where. I cannot afford it. I can't even imagine being a bridesmaid or being in a wedding right now. That would set me back financially to a point of no return. And it's so funny because sometimes I see these large friend groups and part of me is like, wow, like that is so cool and that must be really nice. And then reality sets back in and makes me realize like you cannot afford that. And I've seen some people talk about this before, but not enough of how much of a luxury friendship is. It costs a lot of money to maintain and to create new friendships. And I'm in a place where I'm just surviving. The economy is what it is. I don't even know how people are going out. I mean, if I go out one weekend, I have to live like a monk the following weekend. So I really do need to pick my battles wisely these days. And having a lot of friends just is very expensive. And then on top of that, I'm expected to date.
Outside is real expensive right now. I can't afford to be outside. I can't do it. You open the door and immediately $100 just flies out of your pocket. Everybody I know has a kid graduating from high school or college. I don't have another gift card in me. My kids want to be outside. Y'all, send help. Send help.
I don't know if it's just me, but I don't like it when people or my friends say, Zama, let's go out. And I tell them that I don't have money. And then they say, no, it's fine. I got you. For me, it's a thing of if I don't have money, I am not going to go out. No mongati, I got you, I want not. Especially if it's a group activity or group thing. And then I'm not mad and they'll say, no, Zama, it's fine. I got you. No. Because now imagine we're at a restaurant and like there's 5 of us, right? And we're done eating. So now everyone is paying their part of the bill, right? And then, guys, someone did not pay for their food. Like, who did not pay for the food? Like, who did not pay? And then I'm just sitting there like, oh no, she said she's going to pay for me. And then my friend is like, oh no, I forgot. Yeah, no, guys, I said I'm going to pay for it. It slipped out of my mind. And then after that, everyone goes to Cinnabon because it's a thing of, oh, I want Cinnabon. And then everyone is just ordering and paying. And it's, oh, aren't you buying anything? I'm like, no, I'm good. No, I'm just good. And then the friend who said she got you would say, oh, no, come. Which one do you want? I'll buy it for you. Like, oh. Like, it's not even a pride thing, but it makes me feel like an ice boy. Yeah, but lo bahlezi bamthuma my eyes because I contribute to ejwayeleni or whatnot. It makes me feel like that person, like an ice boy. I don't want to lie.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Worth pointing out that it's expensive to hang out with rich kids. If you cannot afford a weekend in Paris, you're out. Well, this is actually not true, and let me tell you about my friend group. We always had a few kids who were from a different financial background, and the hardest thing is to meet those people, right? Because usually you hang out at different places, but if you meet and if you make a good connection, it can be really life-changing. So when we would go on vacations, we as a friend group would either split to cover those people, or the person who was the closest with them would just completely cover all of their expenses. But let me tell you about one of my guy friends who was not as privileged, but he was friends with our friend group, right? He was so smart. He never asked for money. He always asked for an opportunity. And first of all, it made all of us completely respect him and look up to him. And second of all, he knew money can end really fast, but opportunity can take you the long way. So he asked one of our rich kids' parents to refer him to university because they went to the same university where he wanted to go. And they did. And he did end up going there. But in order to ask for such favor, you have to understand that he had to build a relationship with that family. And he really knew how to do it. And some of you will say that he was fake nice, but everybody is fake nice. But he really showed to those parents that he's disciplined, that he's organized, that he knows how to be friendly, how to build relationships. And that's why they refer him, because they knew that he will be doing exactly the same things with people to who they referred him, right? And then he came to university, and it was so easy for him to become friends with rich kids again because he knew all of the cool vacation spots. He went there with his other friend group. He knew everything they were talking about. It was such an easy transition for him, and it really made his network become bigger and bigger. And then he ended up going to really cool companies because of referrals as well. And I know that some of you will call him a social climber, but you have to see that person in order to understand that people were drawn to him. They wanted to be next to him. So we were like just paying for his vacation because we wanted to be in his presence. And there were so many people like this. I'm just telling you one story, but this is not true. If you are good friends with rich kids, they will cover everything, and if they're good people, they will never remind you of it. And if you're a good friend of them, you will always make sure that you know when to say no, because sometimes they will be offering something crazy, and you have to say no in order to keep that respect.
My unpopular opinion is it became shameful to say I can't afford something when people forgot that being broke and not being able to afford something are two totally different things. When somebody tells me that they're broke, I think that they're scraping by on pennies and nickels. I feel like they're about to ask me for $20 to get by, like they literally cannot afford life. But to say I can afford something means I could buy that thing 3 times over and still be good tomorrow. The other day, I'm planning a trip with friends, and they're like, oh, you need to give us your $1,000 deposit if you're trying to go on a trip today. I was like, I can't afford that. They were like, oh, so bitch, you're broke? Whoa. A bitch is not broke. That is not the case. Hold up. I had to explain the difference because, one, I'm not broke, but also this is why people be out here lying to y'all about these trips, going on a trip with $100, because as soon as somebody say they can't afford it, all of a sudden they a broke ass bitch. That is not the case. I feel like as we're entering our 20s, we have to be mature and actually stick to a budget. So just because I'm not out here dropping $1,000 in a 2-minute conversation does not mean that I'm broke. And don't get me started on how everybody just loves to rack up credit card debt to make up for their impulsive spending that they know that they can't afford. We got to get it together, and we got to learn the difference between being broke and being able to afford something.
I hate when I go out to dinner with a big group of people and everyone's ordering and living their best life, and then the tab comes and someone has the nerve to say, let's split it. First off, chips and salsa, margarita honey darling. Okay, I did not purchase me anything but some beans and rice, okay, with a side of H2O on the rocks. Okay, I can't afford your $872 meal when mine was supposed to cost me $12.32. So we're going to need to rethink we're splitting this tab thing, okay? Because you are 3 salted rim, jalapeno, cucumber, margs in, and I cannot afford your lifestyle. And you know what's funny? It's always the person that just wants to try like one of each thing on the menu that has the brilliant idea of then sharing the tab. You know, I'm not here for it. Next time, I'm not coming, okay?
What do other people do on the weekend? They go out with their friends, they travel, they go spend time with their family. Me? I went and toured a whole bunch of apartments that I definitely can't afford to make me feel like I'm doing better in life.
This is the single biggest reason why I'm no longer in a trying phase of my life. I'm not doing it. I will put in effort where effort is due, and my friends know this, but I'm not trying and I'm not bending over backwards anymore. Because every single time I've done that or felt like I was doing that, it just wasn't worth it. I'm very much in the era of if it flows, it flows. If it doesn't, it goes. I'm just not forcing anything anymore. If I'm having to battle against constant misunderstanding, I'm out. If I'm having to sacrifice parts of myself in order to make things work, I'm out. Like I don't have the energy to invest and overcommit where my energy could go to better things. I can't do it anymore. I will play where it's safe, and I will be where I'm valued, and my effort will naturally just flow and naturally just occur because it feels safe to put in that effort. If I'm having to battle against myself to put in effort, something's wrong.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, do I want to go out? I'm going to say yes, because I do want to go out, even though I'm broke.
I think as we get older, the salary difference between...
Boy, do I have a lot to add to this conversation as someone in professional school. Obviously, as students, our reality is a little bit different compared to people who are in professions and careers where they're kind of like capped pay. Highest pay is a lot lower than it should be, and like they should be like compensated for their work better and get paid living wages. Like it's different because like for us, it's like this temporary thing, and like eventually we'll like make enough money to have like a living wage, right? Or in a lot of cases more than that, depending on what like specialties you choose, what exactly, I don't know, like what you decide to do in your specific profession, right? But one thing that everyone kind of tells you about is that when you're a student in your 20s and you watch your friends like grow in your careers, you're just like you're just left there standing like, oh my god. And it's like, because you're watching your friends kind of grow up in a sense and step into the real world and like take on these like other like corporate jobs or like whatever they're doing, type of jobs where they have like a real salary, and you're like, well, I do not have a salary. And you like, I feel like it's stunting me a little bit because I feel a little bit like a child, like we are like child adults. But as far as like hanging out, like it's crazy to me, like some people can just like go out and like order 3 drinks and a meal and like they're okay with that, and I'm here like, okay, I can either get like an appetizer and a drink maybe, or I can get a meal, or if I get a drink and a meal, then like I can't do XYZ things like next week, like, you know, or maybe like I'll cut from like my groceries somehow. Obviously this is very different for people who come from like more privileged backgrounds, and I do want to recognize that I am on a loan, like I do have privilege, and I like if I need money for emergencies or health things or like hard things, like my parents are able to support me, so I do have that privilege. I know there's so many students and people who don't even like have that type of privilege at all, so it's much harder. But getting back to us like child adults, like I feel like it kind of makes you feel a little bit like financially stunted. And when we're with each other, like among students, it's different because like you all get it, versus like when you're still a student with like your friends who are now sometimes younger than you and have like a full salary job, and they're like able to like do all these things and financially plan things, and you're just like, okay, so my test, my multiple choice test, like I'll worry about money later. Like later's gonna come and it's gonna hit me like a truck, because I like don't know. Like I need to learn more about like handling money and stuff, but it's also just like hanging out with people becomes so like, it becomes a little bit stressful, I feel like. But even just like wanting to like plan trips and things with your friends who have like salaried jobs is just so like, it's so different, because like you know that they can afford XYZ things, but like you can't, or like like, so it's like you go on a trip, don't go on a trip, like they come in to visit you, go and like do XYZ thing, and then like sometimes like they'll pay for you and then you start to feel guilt, right? But then it's like, wait, I don't have like a job, like they have a job, like I'll do it when I have a job. But it's just starting to get to a point where it's like it's weird. I feel the difference. I feel it so much more now. The older I get, the more I feel this difference. And even with just like family, like I feel so much guilt. I feel so much guilt that like my younger brother has a job and can like do things, and I'm sitting there like, get back to me in like 8 years. And I feel like this difference is not as stark if you start like professional school early on, like 2021, because like your friend group at that age is like, unless they're in engineering and tech, like they're most likely not making like top money. And even in some engineering fields, like they're not making like top money, right? But I feel like when you're in your mid-20s, like me, like, and older, it just, the stark difference starts to become so much more apparent, because like like your friends are like buying cars and like and I don't know, like some people start buying property or investing. These are just so many things that just don't seem like a tangible reality to me. And I know one day they need to be, but right now it like I can't even imagine what it's like. So yeah, for those of us in school for I don't want to say necessarily masters, unless your master's does take you longer, because like you do get a salary job like a lot sooner than when you're in like PhD programs and professional schools, because it is longer. And yeah, it gets harder, I feel like, the older you get, because the more starker like the difference becomes. But I'm a huge proponent of things like cooking dates and picnic dates and movie nights, cooking together. I wanted to add, sorry, this is such a long video, thank you for watching, you have, but I wanted to add that I feel like your creative friends in your 20s, because like we're in our 20s and the creative field is like sometimes hard to break into, or very hard to break into, like they're kind of like your friends in solidarity when it comes to this. But it's like I also know that they're also going to start to climb in their careers much before me, so yay, delayed gratification.
My friends are too expensive and I can't afford y'all anymore. If you invite me out, I have no self-control to say no. And if you ask me to take a trip, I'm definitely not saying no. Nah, I'm just kidding. Go back and watch the entire video. But I do feel like, how do you talk about this with your friends? And why should you? Like, you're not paying their bills. They're not paying yours. So it's a little taboo to talk about. And then also, like, if your friend doesn't care and is like, yeah, let's run it up, but, like, you know they shouldn't, then what do you do? What do you say? I feel like I've been in situations where it's like, you know your friend shouldn't, but we're all adults. If they don't care, why should I? I'm not paying your bills.
As someone who went from extreme poverty to making a ton of money in a very short amount of time, I understand how it feels to be on both ends of the spectrum. If you know your friends, you know when they feel uncomfortable going out. Like, even if they don't verbally say it to you, there are cues that they'll get. They don't ever want to go out. They're always not feeling good. Offer to pay, right? I call it subsidizing. So if you want to do something outlandish for your birthday, you want to go rent, this expensive Airbnb, pay 60% of it, and then the other 40% ask for input. So that way it keeps it leveled and it keeps it affordable, and you're not isolating or alienating the people that, grew up with you before you got your money.
If you're in your 20s and you're starting to feel this way, like the salary difference between you and your friends is getting bigger, which is a very natural thing to happen over the course of your 20s, then here are some budget-friendly activities you can do. Number 1, happy hour. It's actually really fun to go and seek out the best happy hours in your city, and everything is less expensive. Number 2, cooking and baking at someone's house. This one is so perfect as fall's approaching. Number 3, and you could do this one with number 2, is finding a show that you all love and watch and designating one day of the week for that show. So maybe it's the Vampire Diary Thursdays or the Summer I Turned Pretty Saturdays. Number 4, coffee dates. Find cute local coffee shops and do a new one each time. Number 5, book club. Choose a book that you're all gonna read and then do a monthly appetizer night at someone's house to discuss. Follow for more budget-friendly hangout ideas in your 20s.
I try to pay for my friends as often as I can when we go out. They're like, Chris, damn, you got money. It's not like that. It's because when I was a teenager and a kid, there's a lot of shit I wanted and I couldn't have. And a lot of times I would be left out of doing friend activities because I didn't have the money. Now, I don't ask my friends if they have money or not. That's not my business. What is my business is to make sure that the people that spend time with me feel wanted, loved, taken care of, and really respected. If you're in my life, I chose you to be in my life, and I'm excited to grow with you and invest into each other. I have the deepest appreciation for my friends. It took me years to really understand, first of all, who am I and what kinds of relationships are good for me and what can I offer to other people. Because in high school and college, you get what you get. You have a friend group and you don't always choose those friends. And there's some friendships that you might have enjoyed in the moment, but you look back and you're like, oh, I could have done better, or I deserve better. For example, there was this one time where all of my friends in high school, maybe college, I don't know, invited to go to New York, and they did. But guess who didn't have money to cover herself? Me. Honestly, it would have taken $20. They didn't do anything expensive. They basically went to a house party. And my friend, my best friend at the time, invited me, but I was like, hey, I just don't have the money to cover it. And I don't like to ask people for money. I was hoping she would say, I would cover you. That invitation did not come. I do tend to think about things pragmatically, so I know it's not her responsibility to cover me. I know that. But at the same time, it's about $20 at most. Not a lot of money that I could have paid her back over the following week. And I know it's not other people's responsibility to cover my bill. I get that. But I come from a different culture where you do treat your friends to a higher level of experiences. And if I'm going to go somewhere, me personally, if I'm going somewhere, I'm going to make sure that I take my friends with me. And I will make sure to, if I have the money, cover my friends as often as I can, whether they can cover themselves or not. And if they can't, I will go out of my way to figure out how to pull them up with me. That $20 will not save her, but it would have made a huge difference to me in this person wants me here. So to me, I take it as a sign of clearly I'm an outcast of the group. Again, I didn't have bad financial habits. I just was between paychecks. I wasn't always the broke friend in high school. But we all fall on hard times, a moment here, a moment there. And for my closest friends to not even offer, come on. Truthfully, I think this person liked me where I was in my financial position because you know what? As soon as I started dating Tom and I started to have more expensive things, this is so weird because Tom was a little bit older than I was. He was already working. I was starting to go to fancy restaurants. She was like, I can't afford your lifestyle. I'm like, what lifestyle? I'll go to the park with you for free. I just want to see you. Nope, our friendship basically fell apart a year into me and Tom starting to date. I used to really miss it a lot at first. I really missed this person. We were friends for 10 years. But then you do some soul searching and you're like, well, how did I feel throughout those 10 years? Did I feel good by being a friend with this person? And then you slowly get moments like that where you remember things like, she got really upset with me once because I couldn't travel with her. Just didn't have the money, frankly. And she got upset because she's like, you promised me we're going to take a summer trip together. Like, we all have tickets. And I think she heavily, like, completely forgot that I was probably the poorest out of our friend group. Like, I was the only one with a single mom. I didn't really have any, like, older siblings to help me. I didn't have any money that's coming down to me for me to cover my gaps. And then I remember asking one summer, I was like, oh, I think I finally have enough money. And she's like, I don't think it makes sense for you to come anymore. She's like, we kind of have our core travel group. It's like how we move now. This is what we do now. Wow. And when I was young, I took it. I was like, you're right. I did this to myself. I couldn't afford to go. So you're right. I deserve to be treated like shit now. Like, stop fucking penalizing your friends for not having money. Oh my God. Especially if your family makes more. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, if you make more, how can you expect your friends to be held to the same financial spending standard? What, you're only going to make friends with people who make exactly what you make? That's crazy. Hey, we're not friends anymore. Look, I follow a very simple rule that my grandfather instilled, and it is this: I am not responsible for what other people do. I'm only responsible for what I do. So it's my responsibility to think, how do I want to treat my friends? Whether they can give me things, whether they can buy me things, whether they can provide for me, I do not care. I care about what I can do for my friends and who the person I want to be towards them. So whether my friends can or cannot afford shit, I do not care. I do not ask them what's in their bank account. I'm going to give them the best gifts I can find for them, the best experience, the best moments, because that's my responsibility. Anyway, I'm excited for 2024 and even better friendships. Goodbye.
I'm so grateful that probably 90% of my friendships were formed in poverty. Okay, college, high school, the people that I met like right out of college, like, I'm so thankful. Whew, it's the small things. Literal, our meetings today. People got jobs, we got families, all types of things going on. We will drive to one of my friends' house and watch Criminal Minds on her couch under blankets. Okay, we will sit there nonverbal for an hour and a half and be in our phone doing work. It does not matter. It is the idea that you're with like-minded people where you are safe and you are loved and you are free to do whatever, express whatever in a safe place. That is supposed to be the crux of friendship. And I'm so sorry that that experience is being ruined for you by capitalism. And it sounds like terrible people. I certainly think you should have some heart to hearts with your friends about what friendship actually is and what it means and how you add to it. Friendship is not supposed to have anything to do with money, I don't think, in my personal opinion, right? I'm sure there are people out there that would disagree with me. But yeah, I certainly encourage you to come up with some creative things to do with your friends, whether it's like going to the library. Again, we can sit in a room and do nothing. But granted, I've known these women since I was 17, almost 20 years, right? So, of course, we don't really have to talk and we can still talk. But for those that are out here trying to make new friends, I certainly think you should find them in places like libraries or Barnes and Noble bookstores, or even at some like low budget stuff. Like Raleigh, they have this thing called like After Five, and it's for like Friday night something. It's free entertainment, so definitely a place to mix and mingle. But it makes me really sad that is that everybody's experience out here? Please get in the comments and let me know. I'm a little bit, I'm like welling up a little bit just because I can't imagine like doing life without my friends. Like, I need them. And I need them if I become a billionaire tomorrow, the same way I need them with what my bank account looks like today, the same way I'll need them if I got negative $300. Like, I need them. And more than that, I think that I too have given so much into friendship that they need me too. And the money doesn't matter. Like, oh. It makes me sad. Oh man, fix friendship, y'all. Bring friendship back. It shouldn't cost people money. That's crazy.
Y'all, I have no patience. I already know that. I was meeting a friend at 4. It's 4:11. I'm finna go. Let me know what y'all do to increase y'all patience, because I have so many other things to do. And while I value spending time with my friends, the movie started at 4:05. It is 4:11. I'm leaving. Do y'all think I'm the a-hole if I leave? Because I'm leaving. A few minutes late was the notification that I got for 4. It's almost 4:15. I want to have friends, but I really feel like, having a plethora of friends means that you sacrifice yourself over and over and over, and you allow people to disrespect your time, and I'm exhausted. Or you're always giving away something. I mean, it's always a good way to keep some friends. Giving away stuff, money, resources, time, information. Give it away. Please don't ever value it and put a price on it, because you won't have any friends. I tried. I did. I'm leaving.
I am so done being the friend that always puts my card down at dinner, or it doesn't have to be dinner, whatever joint activity it is. I feel like I'm always losing money on these purchases. You have the person at the dinner table that just wants to pay you their exact meal price and doesn't Venmo you for the tip or tax. Have the other people that just don't ever pay you back and you have to ask for it and they like drag their feet doing it. Or more recently, you have the people that think that because you're getting credit card points on it, they don't have to pay you back. Why am I losing money by doing a favor? I swear I'm always getting shortchanged.
Friendships don't hit like they used to anymore. Story time. I met this girl here on TikTok. She lived in Virginia. I live in DC, so if you know, you know, it's like real close. And we had been friends for a couple months, but my first red flag should have been the first time I met her, she needed me to sign a legal document for her to get a job. Weird. So a couple months down the line, we decide, okay, we're going to go to Baltimore on like a little road trip. I paid for the rental. I didn't ask her for shit. And to preface this, I need to say that she recently filed for bankruptcy. So she's having some issues with like her credit cards and stuff like that. Okay. So we get to Baltimore. The hotel's in my name, everything. There was extra charges. You know how when you get to the counter, there's more fees? I'm paying for it. I'm covering it, whatever. The whole weekend seemed to go like this. Whenever we would go out to eat, I would pay, she would reimburse me. But there's always those hidden extra fees, tips, taxes, stuff like that. And people just calculate you understand what I'm saying? So it kept going like that, and I started getting irritated. It came to the point of the night where I needed to pull cash out of the ATM. And of course, ATM fees, but I'm the only one who's pulling out cash because I guess she was having some issues, but she didn't say anything. I was just supposed to know this, okay? So the night goes on. We decide we want to go to a hookah lounge. Well, I don't really like hookah. She decided, and I was like, I'll come, but I need to smoke before I go because I'm a smoker. So we get to the hookah lounge that she chooses, that I'm driving in the car that I paid for the whole. We get to the hookah lounge and I see that there's a smoke shop literally 2 doors down. So we get there and I'm like, okay, I'm about to run to this smoke shop and get my stuff and I'm gonna sit in the car and smoke before I come into the hookah lounge, but you can go ahead in and I'm gonna come in and meet you in there. So we both get out the car. She walks to the hookah lounge, I walk to the smoke shop. I go in the smoke shop, I'm in there for like 5 minutes, laughing, kikiing, getting what I need, talking to the random people. I come out and she's still standing there. And then I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, it costs $10 to get in. So give them the $10. Hello. And I'm like, okay. And then it dawned on me, I've been paying for everything. She just reimbursed me through like Cash App, like doing that all week. I'm like, okay. Well, the little bit of cash that I pulled out, I needed that for something. I wasn't pulling out no more cash. I'm not paying no more fees to pull out cash. There's an ATM in the smoke shop if you need to run over and get yourself some cash. So I said that as I'm walking towards the car. There's an ATM in there, go get you some cash. And I'm walking towards the car thinking about this. I'm about to roll up, excited. So she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. She comes and gets in the car with me. Ma'am, you don't smoke. Why are you here? I thought you wanted to do hookah. So she's quiet the whole time. Vibrations are off. I'm like, do we need to talk about this? Like how you expected me? Because personally, as a friend, I'm going to talk about some things and I'm going to talk about expectations and I'm going to bring it up. One thing about me, I'm going to blow the fucking whistle. So I was blowing the whistle and I'm like, do we need to talk about this? Do we need to, discuss this? And she's like, no, I'm good. Everything's good. Oh. So that happened. We literally did not talk to each other for the rest of the weekend. We had other things planned, went to these activities together, but did not talk to each other. I'm just trying to be happy, just trying to be bubbly, but noticing that this bitch is weird at this point. And then, I drop her off at home.
because again, I'm the one doing all the driving. And that was it. But then 2 days later, I sent her a text and I was like, you know what? This isn't the type of friendship that I want. I wish you all the best. We have a concert to attend together in August, so I'll keep you posted.
Something super awkward about being an adult that nobody tells you about is when everyone kind of grows up and gets their big boy, big girl jobs, and 2 or more of your friends do the exact same thing, especially when it's like a service. Like you have 2 girlfriends that both do hair, and it becomes so awkward because there's like loyalty involved, money involved, who does a better job, who you're willing to sit in the chair with and talk to for 4 hours, who is not going to gossip about you when you leave. I want to support my friends' businesses, so I always pay, but sometimes people overcharge and sometimes people undercharge, and that's also super weird because then it's like, do you give them more money? Do you not give them more money? Also, it is so awkward to fire your friends. Like if they really fuck up, it's so awkward to fire them. It'll be like your friend can't fit you in, so you just go to someone else, and then they like lose their shit and they're like, why didn't you just message me? And you're like, I have been for 1 month. It also gets super awkward when they start complaining about money or about business being slow, and you know it's because they don't put in that much effort and they spend like crazy, and I don't want to really just give you more money. I know I chose to speak about this. I don't have any solutions. I just wanted to warn anyone who's not at that point in life yet that it gets bumpy.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.